Hello and welcome to another Fox Squadron podcast of Star Wars Legion. I am joined yet again by Glacier Dawn.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. How about you?
I am doing good as well. Getting pretty excited to look at what we're going to look at today. Today we are going to take a look at the special operations for Star Wars Legion. It's the
More
new
commonly
game.
known as Spec Ops.
Yeah, it's the game mode that AMG released a while ago. We haven't been able to play it out until recently, and because not a whole lot of other people are looking at it, I figured we give our thoughts about it and what we think. We'll just go through kind of the core rules today, how it's different to Standard Legion, and then we'll get into like the lists and stuff. And me and Glacier have played a game of it. How was the game in your side of the table, Glacier?
I kind of feel like I would have won had I not goofed up in the first round.
Yeah, it definitely is. I definitely think so too. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good game though, for sure.
Indeed, yeah.
In terms of like how it goes to regular Legion, it's definitely a lot different. This is like, again, the small team version. Like, each of these cards is corresponding to a single dude instead of like a unit of 5 guys. So it's a lot easier to set up, way faster to set up, and it's a lot smaller scale. So I feel like if you want a smaller scale, try this out. If you don't want a smaller scale, then stick with the other one. Competitively, I would say whatever level of competitive you put Legion at, like say like Legion for you is like a 5, like 5 competitively, this would be like a 4. Like, this one's basically a tier or a number less, I feel like.
Yeah. Much more casual.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more casual. It still does have the competitive elements, though, of Legion, of like moving and shooting and positioning. But yeah, it's definitely just a little bit more casual just because of the smaller number of units, and also because the lists are preset, so there's no like meta squad building or anything. It's just like every single list kind of has the same advantage because they're all built to be advantage to each other. The only real questions you have are loadout cards, and to be honest, most of the loadout cards in most of these squads are pretty much like, you want this.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a no-brainer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so starting off with the core rules, the main changes to core rules are, let's see here, the command phase, orders and command phase. So when you play a command card and you nominate a commander, you don't actually have to issue orders from that commander. Whatever orders you're issuing from the card can just be issued to the units that you have on the table. This is really nice because it prevents you from having to play your commander close to units. Now, generally, most commanders want to still be close to units because they have abilities and stuff, but you now no longer have to keep your units within a certain range of your commander. You just play a command card and issue orders. Yeah, I didn't really notice an issue with this, to be honest. They kind of just, because most of the commanders, even though they do have support abilities, they also feel very much the same as the other units. They just have like extra courage, extra health, and maybe an extra attack die while they attack. I think that's it, I think. Yeah. And then action economy wise, all the actions are the same. You can only do 1 aim, 1 dodge, 1 standby attack. The difference is that you can't do 2 move actions. You can only do 1 move action. But you can do a dash action, which is basically half the speed of your, a speed 1 move, but you cannot climb while you do the dash. So you can move, dash, or just dash, which I don't think there's any situations in which you want to just dash, because that still doesn't trigger charge keywords and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you was going to dash, you might as well just move, because then you can do a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Rallying is the same. Building a command hand's a lot different, so all the command hands are preset. Every squad's going to have 5 command cards, standing orders, 2 that are specific to the squad, and then 2 that are specific to the faction. So me and Glacier's game, we played 6 rounds. I actually found out recently that all of the objectives in this game only end on round 4. So we technically went an extra couple rounds than we should have. Though
So
with the
technically
objective,
we did win.
yeah, right. Well, technically with the objective that we did play on round 4, we did have the same number of victory points, and according to that objective, we would have had to play another round. In round 5, it was decided that I had the extra point.
Yeah.
So the
All right,
sixth
well,
round was unnecessary, but yeah, that's about
it
it.
was fun.
Yeah, sixth round was the funnest part.
Whenever the die still couldn't make up its mind. No, I don't think we actually
Exactly.
rolled that one.
Yeah, and selecting player color is different too. You roll 3 red attack dice. The player with the most critical results is the priority player, or and then surges is the next, and then hits, and then blanks. 3 red dice. Yeah, I think that's cool, I guess. A different way to determine priority. Yeah, basically whoever has the most crits and surges is the red player. And then players will either determine an objective randomly or agree to play one. Yeah, obviously, red player, you pick the side of the table that you want, which is powerful. This game mode definitely does like the red player more in this case, but I don't think it's impossible to win depending on the table. Like if one side of the table has all the cover and the other doesn't, then obviously red player's an auto win. But I don't think most tables are made like that. Our table certainly wasn't like that.
Yeah, no, it was pretty chaotic for such a small area.
Yeah, I think we ended pretty evenly on cover. I think I had the slight disadvantage because I had the line of sight blocking terrain, but in order to get my guys to the objective, they had to go through like no man's land, which still worked out. Anyways, suppression is the biggest change in this mode. So, unlike standard games of Star Wars Legion, a unit with suppression tokens equal to its courage value after rallying does not lose any actions. Instead, when a suppressed unit attacks before rolling a dice, it removes 1 red attack die from the roll. If the attack does not contain any red attack dice, it removes a black die. If it does not contain any black dice, it removes a white attack die. Additionally, units do not remove suppression tokens during the end phase. And droid troopers cannot be suppressed, however they can still gain suppression tokens and panic. Oh, we didn't actually do that during our game.
What? That's bullcrap. So I should have...
Yeah, wow, did it ever actually come... I think you were suppressed a couple of times.
I was.
But you still got pretty good rolls anyway, so I don't really think it mattered too much. Maybe for just some movement and positioning. Oh, that's interesting. Forgot about that rule. There's some rules we forgot in our game. I don't know, it's hard. It's like playing with this new set of rules with the old set of rules, too.
Well, we'll call it our version of the game. It's just slightly worse.
Right? I would say with this rule set, it's pretty good. You still get your 2 actions, so units are still very objective efficient. They're just slightly worse when they make their attacks. Every unit rolls like 4 or 5 dice when they attack, some like 6 or 8. Almost every attack has a red dice. Every attack has a black dice. So suppressing a unit's good. It's not going to win you objectively, but it is going to make that unit less valuable when they attack, which is good. Yeah, do you want to read out the panic rules?
Yes, let me find them. Oh, there we go. I just so happen to be right on the page. Alright. Panic plays a very different role in Star Wars Legion Special Operations. Instead of using the normal panic rules, anytime a unit gains suppression tokens that would cause it to have more suppression tokens than its courage value, the unit panics. When a unit panics, roll a black die. For each suppression token it has exceeded its courage stat. Or it has exceeded. There we go. For each critical and or hit result, the unit suffers 1 wound. Then remove suppression tokens from the unit until it has suppression tokens equal to its courage stat.
How many times can you fit suppression tokens in a paragraph, basically?
1 second, let me try it again.
Literally like 4 or 5 times. Anyways, so suppression, panic is a lot different. With this rule, basically every time a unit hits the panic stage, so if it's a courage 2 unit, if it gains that other suppression token, it's now panicked. Above its courage stat, obviously, then it would immediately roll. So essentially, you're never going to roll more than 1 black dice, and you're always going to roll that extra black dice once someone gives you a suppression if you're already suppressed. Yeah, it's not bad rule. I think in our game, I think you took 1 wound from it, and you had 3 panics total, and I had 1 panic.
No, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to remember if it was 1 or 2.
No, it was 1, because you're droid commando leader.
Oh, that's
Which I think
right,
he has like 3 courage, but I don't remember. We'll see later. My Rebel Commando leader, I actually found it has 3 courage, so when he panicked, he shouldn't have. But he didn't take a wound anyways, though, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Um,
Plus, you got a free removal of a
well,
suppression.
technically, when you remove the suppression token, you're only removing that one that made you panic. You're not removing any others after that.
No, I
So
know, but I mean, like because you technically he had 3 courage, so you kind of just got rid of that one, so now he had another free space to, or I say space,
well, I
another
thought he
like
only had
free
2,
token
so
concentration.
technically during the game, and I was only playing when he had 2. So it's just my bad from the start there, but I do get what you're saying. Overall, this isn't a bad rule. It really does make the recover action matter a lot more. Recovering all your suppression, which does matter in games of Legion when you have like 20 or so suppression.
Especially if you play Imperial.
Yeah, exactly. But or like I guess 5 is a more interesting number. Like 5, 4, being able to recover is amazing. But in this game, recovering when you have 2 is actually quite valuable. Because you're usually going to want to focus fire onto units. So with that unit that recovers isn't really losing anything because their attack's going to be strong while they get their last shot off basically before they die. Yeah, and then big thing about terrain. Terrain is either impassable or open. There's no difficult terrain anymore, which I am okay with. I mean, I'm
I
not.
kind of like the difficult terrain, but I can see how it wouldn't really fit all that well in this.
Yeah, I mean, I see why with the new movement rules why they did this. I don't really think it affects it too much though. I feel like units being able to hop over barricades at speed 2 is kind of funny, and I also think it makes the bound keyword, which is on quite a few squads in this quite a few units in these squads have bound, and it kind of makes that keyword more worthless in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess climbing's a lot better for them, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I don't think it's bad.
I think it's atrocious. Makes me want to ball.
Yeah, I think it's okay. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think it would have added a little bit more extra spice to the game if you can't just hop over a barricade speed 2, but it's okay.
But droids, they loved it.
Yeah. Anyways, you want to read the rules about cover? That's the hugest change, I think, and from Legion to this.
And also one of the shorter paragraphs. So
Shortest,
let's
actually.
see here. No, of terrain, I would say is the shortest and critical.
That's like
and
literally one sentence. I'm not calling that a paragraph. That is one sentence on terrain.
absolutely
One
true,
sentence, the most important
No,
sentence, but
no,
only a
listen.
sentence.
Listen. A paragraph is just how long it takes to get an idea. So get an idea out there. So technically, those 2 sentences make up a paragraph.
They make up like 4 paragraphs and a thread on Reddit of angry Legion players. But yeah, just move on to the cover rule. We don't need to stay there.
All right. Instead of canceling results during the roll defense dice step, a unit that my gosh, I can't talk. Instead of canceling results during the roll defense dice step, a unit that has light cover may change one of its defense surge results to a block result, and a unit with heavy cover may change 2 of its defense surge results to a block result.
Now, this may seem unnecessary, but none of the units in any of these squads have surge priorities. None of them surge to hit, none of them surge to block, so you're going to want things like surge tokens, light or heavy cover to change your defense surge results, or surge tokens or the critical keyword to change your attack surges. So this ability is very interesting. I personally am not sure. During our game, it worked out pretty okay. I think it gives red defense dice more of an advantage because red saves with surges is really good. White saves with surges is kind of bad. So
On the bright, at least now with white defense die, you have a ever so slight more chance to actually block it.
Generically, most units in Star Wars Legions that have white defense dice, other than B1 droids, have surge to block with their white dice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so with Rebel units, that's why cover canceling hits is a lot better because they cancel the hits, then they spin a dodge to cancel a third hit, So instead of like their squad getting wiped out, only like a few of them die. With Imperial units, canceling cover's nice, but it's not as necessary because they have the red saves. This basically makes it to where red save units have a pretty big advantage. However, they did in the squads balance out the white save units by giving them some extra little buffs. So the squads are still balanced, but in general, if there was like 2 stormtroopers fighting each other and you gave one stormtrooper white dice and maybe a couple extra black attack dice, I think the one with red saves is in a better spot because he's going to be able to save more.
Yeah.
But this is still an okay rule. Those are the only rules that are actually changed. Critical X is the same, Impact X, Suppressive, Pierce, Fixed. Well, actually, Suppressive X, that's one that is a little bit different. So Suppressive now actually has a value in this mode. So Suppressive 1, after the attack resolves, you give them 1 suppression token, in addition to the 1 that they gain from the ranged attack. And Suppressive 2, they gain 2, in addition to the 1 they gain from the ranged attack. So basically, all attacks give 1 suppression, but if there's a suppressive value, it gives that many extra suppression. And then there's Covert Deploy, which is one of the more interesting ones. So some loadouts allow certain units in a squad to Covert Deploy. Units with the Covert Deploy rule are not deployed normally. When a unit with the Covert Deploy would normally be deployed, their controlling player places an order token with the corresponding rank face down instead of deploying a unit. This unit cannot be issued orders until its miniature is on the battlefield. During any instep of the game, a player who controls a unit with Covert Deploy may reveal its order token and deploy a unit of the corresponding rank at 10 inches of the revealed order token. Then remove the order token from the battlefield.
Sorry. No, I was saying that's the other thing about this game mode too, is that they use inches.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the thing we didn't cover yet. This game mode loves inches. Everything is measured in inches. The play space, they said, is 36 inches by 36 inches up here. Let's see here. The battlefield, yeah. Star Wars Legion Special Operations is played on a 36-inch by 36-inch battlefield. This is the same as 3 feet. I don't know why they didn't say 3 feet by 3 feet. That's just normally what other game mats say, like X-Wing, Legion Skirmish.
They want you to use your brain.
Yeah, literally. I don't understand the difference, to be honest, because, yeah, it tells you that it's in inches, but once you start looking at the ranges of guns, you're going to notice that, oh, all these are in inches. Like, pretty much every gun is in 12, 8, or 18 inches.
I think that might be because it's easier to just write the number there in the range bubble rather than write like 1 foot or something.
Right. Now, the biggest thing, though, to know is that the range 1 is equivalent to 6 inches, and the range 2 is equivalent to 12 inches. So with a fair number of the units in this game, you can get by with just using the range tools that you have that you can use for standard units. Like range 3, for example, is 18 inches, which is the sniper range for units in these squads. So you can get by with those rules, but when you have like a 14-inch unit that I had 4 of those in my list, then you got to actually like grab a tape measure and measure that out. But if you just have 12 and 6 and 18-inch units, you'll be fine using range tools for those. Range 1 equals 6 inches. But anyways, that's about inches. Covert Deploy in general, though, I think this is actually really interesting. You put the order token down, and then at the instep of any part of the game, any round, they deploy 10 inches away from that order token. So they can deploy like the end of the game to score a point, though the rest of your list is at a disadvantage because they're running like maybe half strength. Though, yeah, it's interesting. 10 inches away from that token is a lot of area. Especially
Really
depending on where that token is. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool ability. I'm kind of interested in trying a covert squad now.
Please don't. That'd be incredibly painful for me.
I mean, they don't get to shoot round 1. They just get to covert deploy in the middle of the table.
True.
So that's kind of the drawback with them, I think. Yeah, but that's all of the core rules of this game mode. The main changes are suppression and panic, as well as cover. Those are like the ultimate changes. Also, with the courage values, units cannot use their commander's rank of courage in place of their own. So they can't use like the courage value of a commander instead of their own base courage. They have to use just their base courage. And of course, no suppression tokens are removed during the end phase, so suppression matters a lot more now. As does panicking, because panicking is no longer you lose an objective. It's now you kind of roll, you kind of almost die.
Kind of almost die.
Yeah, you roll extra black attack dice to the suppression tokens over your courage value, which thematically I'm not sure about. I don't think a guy would start shooting himself if he's panicking. But certainly gameplay. Yeah, certainly gameplay wise though, I think it's pretty okay. I think it's a nice drawback to where they don't have suppression tokens over their courage value. They just have down to their own, but they have to roll attack dice instead. I think it works better because all the units have like 5 or 6 health, so it just keeps them moving and not really shutting down and having to like waste a whole activation because they panicked.
Yeah.
Especially in this mode where activations matter a lot. They matter in every game of Legion, but especially this one.
Yeah, in this one they matter just a slight bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, and we're not going to cover objectives in this podcast. I think we're going to do that in our next podcast. Like I said, we're just going to look through units and stuff, and the different squad constructions and whatnot that they have going on, give our thoughts about them. The next podcast is when we rate them, and we are like, okay, this one's S, this one's A, this one's F, and then we'll also talk about objectives next podcast as well. But today we just want to talk about the units and the core rules, just to kind of get all the newer stuff out of the way before objectives come in, because objectives are always objectives. Anyways, so for the Rebel Alliance, we got the Rebel Troopers Squad, which is a Rebel Captain, 4 Rebel Troopers, a Rebel Trooper with a Detail 20A, and 2 Rebel Pathfinders and an Astromech. And of course, each of these is a single model. Each of these units represents that single model that rolls 5 or 6 attack dice. So essentially, this squad is made up of, 9 different models? Yeah, 9 models. And on the Galactic Empire side, for their infantry squad, they have the Imperial Officer, 3 Stormtroopers, a Stormtrooper with a DLT-19 Heavy Blaster Rifle, 2 Death Troopers, and an FX-9 Medical Droid. So they're running 8 models, 8 activations. Yeah, so Rebels have a little bit more than Empire, which is normal. Rebel units are...
Empire, I think, I dare say, has a little bit better figures. Well, actually, no, because the abilities got switched out.
Most of the abilities of all these units did get switched out, so I think it kind of depends. In general, Empire units are better. Like I said, they have red saves, and with how cover works now, they're going to have a real big advantage over the Rebels. But the Rebel units have that extra dude, so I think that works out. You kind of see the same thing in the Rebel Commando and Imperial Special Forces squads. We've got for the Rebel Commando squad, a Rebel Commando Captain, 3 Rebel Commandos, a Rebel Commando Saboteur, Rebel Commando with a Sniper Rifle, and a Wookiee Warrior Bowcaster, which can be swapped out for a melee Wookiee with a loadout card. And then you have Imperial Special... Oh. Yeah, what'd you say?
No, I said that thing is freaking brutal.
Yeah, the melee Wookiee is really good. I highly recommend using him. The Imperial Special Forces squad, though, is an Imperial Special Forces Captain, 2 Imperial Special Forces Troopers, 3 Scout Troopers, a Scout Trooper with a Sniper Rifle, and an ID Seeker Droid. I think both of these lists, let's see, the Imperial one's running 8 activations, the Rebel one is running 7 activations, so it's switched in this area. I guess, yeah, because Scout Troopers have less range, they have pistols, and interesting thing about Rebel Commandos is they have 14 inches, not 12 inches like the other units, so they actually have slightly better range than everything, which is interesting. I'm not sure, yeah. And then, of course, there's the Republic and Separatists. If you would like to read out those squads, Glacier?
Sorry, I got kind of caught up in a bit of other stuff on this list.
No worries. We're on the Republic and Separatist Alliance squads and stuff.
The one where it says the Legion Special Operations Squad info?
Yes, squad info, yep.
Alright, well, first I'm going to start out with the arguably best faction in Star Wars history. If you disagree, I just want you to know you was wrong.
I mean, Republic has won more tournaments than Star Wars Legion this year.
I said if you disagree is wrong. Like,
Alright, go ahead.
all right. Separatist Alliance Invasion Force Squad. We've got we've got a tactical droid. We got 5 B1 battle droids. We've got a B1 battle droid with an E5C. We've got 2 B2 super battle droids, and we've got a worker droid. Which
Yeah,
I
so
freaking love.
yeah, so overall that's what 10 activations. That's the largest squad so far, which makes sense. It's separatist, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we've just
You got to run the most stuff.
Yeah,
For the Republic, it's kind of funny. They actually listed the commando squads out of order here, but the ARC Trooper squad is made up of an ARC Trooper captain, 2 ARC Troopers, 2 other ARC Troopers with jetpacks, and then an ARC Trooper with a sniper rifle. I think that's coming at our lowest activation count, which is 6. Which obviously means that those are the best units, and I think they are. Once we actually start looking at them, they have a lot of really good stuff.
yeah, they're scary.
Yeah, and the Clone Trooper keyword still works in this game mode. As a Clone Trooper, you can still share green tokens, and ARC Troopers have quite a few to share.
That's what just adds on to the scary factor.
Yeah, it's clones, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, clones got to be a pain in the butt.
Yep.
So should I continue reading off the separatists?
Yes, and then I'll read off the clone one.
All right. For our second invasion force loadout, man, they really have creative names for these.
Oh, not the loadouts, just the droid commando squad.
Yeah, no,
We'll do loadouts a little bit later.
fine. All right. All right. All right. So droid commando squad. This one is actually pretty good and fun. I believe it's one I played.
This
yes,
is the one you played. Yeah, it was pretty good. I played Rebel Commandos. You played Droid Commandos, and yeah, that was a pretty good game.
Yeah. All right. We got a BX series droid commando captain, which I'm just saying captain. It actually says commando droid.
Yeah, he technically is the captain. This is the one with the highest courage in the squad. That also has the most support abilities. I don't know why they just didn't say captain, but it's whatever.
At this moment, they thought, let's just make it a bit more confusing.
Yeah, let's just make him a regular guy.
All right, 2 BX series commando droids with deflector shields. 2 BX series commando droids with vibro swords, and 2 IG-100 Magna Guards.
Yes, and then one of those Magna Guards gets swapped out with a Electro Whip Magna Guard or a Sniper Droid with the loadout cards. Which I guess I'll explain now. Loadout cards, so basically all these squads are preset, but you're going to have loadout cards which give them different abilities, and each loadout card, you have 3 different ones to pick from. They're all double-sided, so you get to pick one side to bring to each match after the objective has been decided. So you have basically 3 different ways to change up your list a little bit. And with this squad, it's basically one Magna Guard with either one Electro Whip Magna Guard or one Sniper Droid. Sniper Commando, which you'll see in a little bit and you'll understand a little bit later, but keep in mind that it's basically one Magna Guard and then one unit of your choice. But the overall squad has 7 activations, and it's pretty solid. It works really well. Those Deflector Shield Commando Droids are pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty freaking hard to do.
Yes, for sure. And then for the Clone Trooper squad, we have a Clone Commander, 3 Clone Troopers, a Clone Trooper with a Z6 Rotary Blaster Cannon, a Clone Medic, and an Astromech Droid, which comes in at 7 activations as well. So basically, the Clone Troopers are running about the same number as most of the Special Forces squads, because I guess they're that good. Clones.
Who knew that that people, I don't know why I said things, who knew that people bred and created for warfare would be good at warfare?
I know, right? Yeah, I love this Scout Trooper art, though. They put it on the full art. Anyways, for our first squad, we have the Rebel Commando squad, which has a whole bunch of different arts. Let me see if I can actually drag them over a little bit, get them more in view of the OBS. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There we go. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to drag. I wanted to drag something else entirely. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, the Rebel Commando squad is made up of the Rebel Commando captain, the 3 regular Rebel Commandos. We'll just go through their abilities. So the Rebel Commando captain has Observe 1 as a free action. So choose an enemy unit in line of sight. It gains 1 observation token. So there's no range requirement for this ability, like usually observe works. You just have line of sight, give them an observation token, get a free reroll. The main ability though is camouflage. So while defending its range attack, if this unit is obscured, it may cancel 1 hit result in the attack roll. All of the commandos have this ability, and Scout 1 and Sharpshooter 1. So basically, and this is the only squad that has camouflage. This is the only squad that actually cancels hits while they have cover, which is super good. It keeps them alive for a very long time because they roll white saves. And it's really, I'd say, their biggest advantage to running them. If they didn't have camouflage, I don't think they'd be as good to run. They'd still be runnable because their base range is range 14 on average. But camouflage is like puts them basically like a league above most other squads, I think.
Yeah, I think the camouflage it really helps.
It does for sure, yeah. And then they have Scout 1, so when they deploy, they perform a speed 1 move. Then they have Sharpshooter 1. During the determined cover step, reduce the defender's cover by 1, which just cancels surge results basically. Well, prevents surge conversions. And then all Rebel Commandos have combat training for their melee, so it's 3 black dice in melee, which is actually pretty bad. I think it's the worst melee attack that any units throw, other than like astromech droids, obviously. And the Rebel Commando captains.
Headbutt you with the force of the bullet.
Yeah, exactly. The Rebel Commando captain's dice pool for ranged is 2 reds, 2 blacks, and a white with critical 2. So converting 2 surges to crits. Range 14 inches. Like I said, most guns are 12 inches, so this is really nice to have that extra 2 inches. Standby range is also 12 inches as well. So if someone standbys, it's within 12 inches, anyone moves or attacks. So these guys can strip standbys or not trigger standbys because they have the extra 2 inches.
It still just sounds so funny, though, to be like, yep, this bad boy's got a total range of 1 foot.
14 inches.
Oh
my god, if that was how far like real guns could shoot, oh my god, warfare would be so different. Anyways, the speed of this guy is 2, health is 6, and the courage value is 3. Now, for all the regular Rebel Commandos, they all have the same abilities. They don't have Observe. Their weapon dice pool is 2 reds and 2 blacks for their gun with no extra white and 1 less critical value. So critical 1, 2 red, 2 black. And they also have 1 less courage. So basically a little bit worse than the main commander, but by not much, to be honest. Losing a white die is whatever. Losing a critical value can matter, but usually won't. And losing Observe is kind of also situational. I feel like you want Observe if you have the extra white die, but if you just have 2 reds and 2 blacks, you really don't need the observation token.
Yeah.
The loss of courage, though, will hurt them a little bit.
Right.
Oh, what was that? What you said?
No, I was gonna say, I guess unless you really, really want to try to get that last hit, like
yeah.
if it's like 1 hit away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. The Rebel Commando Saboteur is exactly the same as the Rebel Commandos. The only difference is he has the keyword Saboteur, and he's actually a different rank. He is the support rank, because in this mode they use like pretty much all of the different ranks. So obviously the Rebel Commando Captain's a commander, the Rebel Commandos are core units, the Wookiees is special forces, and the Sniper is a heavy support, while this regular Saboteur is just a support. This is so I guess you use all your order tokens. Yeah, I think it's about, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool because it does diversify the order pool and make it different. Because if this was all special forces like these units normally are, then there'd be like no point in playing command cards really, because you wouldn't really need order control. Yeah, okay, so then the Wookiee Warrior, the most interesting unit in this entire squad. It's got charge, so after it performs a move action, it may perform a free melee attack action. This does not include dash. So in your activation, if you want to activate charge, you want to dash and then move to get that charge. Indomitable, while this unit performs a rally step, it may roll red defense dice instead of white defense dice. So it rolls off. Oh, so you don't remove suppression tokens during the end phase, but you do roll off suppression at the start of the activation phase. We forgot to do that in our game too. Forgot to do that. We actually forgot to do quite a few rules. So that's really good.
Could you repeat that? I couldn't fully hear you.
So we forgot to. So we can't remove suppression during the end phase, but we can remove suppression during the rally step at the start of your activation. You roll off suppression. Remember with white dice?
Oh.
Yeah, we forgot to do that during our game. Oh,
that would have really been nice to know.
Yeah, I know, right? That would have been really great. But anyways, this ability, Indomitable, lets him roll red dice, which is really good, because suppression can be a problem. Melee attack is 4 reds with impact 2. Kind of funny that he's anti-armor with that. The Bowcaster is critical 2, impact 1, 12 inches. So this is a regular kind of dude. This unit, though, has 8 health with red save. Speed 2, courage 2. So, really good. The melee version of the Wookiee, which you can get if you use a loadout card, has charge, Indomitable, and disengage, so it can't disengage from people. And it only has a melee weapon, but the melee weapon is 6 red dice with critical 2, impact 2, and pierce 1. Same health, same courage, same saves. Yeah, the melee attack, the Ryrak Blades, is really strong. It hits really hard. I think, because I was playing against the deflector droids, there were times when this melee Wookiee would get 5 crits and just completely nullify basically the armor 1, because it would surge to crits, it would roll a crit, and then it would convert 2 hits to crits. Yeah, he's really good. Melee Wookiee.
The joys of being in pain.
Yeah. Now, the unfortunate thing is that he really won't get into melee until like turn 3 and 4. So you really only have 2 attacks with him before the game ends. So you gotta make those attacks against units that matter, basically. Then there's the Rebel Commando Sniper, the heavy support slot that you're gonna have in your squad no matter what. Has Camouflage, Scout 1, and Sharpshooter 2. So basically, whenever this guy makes an attack, no one has surge conversion. And the range for the sniper is 18 inches, which is again the range 3 band. Critical 2, pierce 1 with 3 reds and 2 blacks. And he has the same health, courage, defense, and speed as a normal Rebel Commando. So yeah, this sniper's pretty good. He consistently did 2 or 3 wounds every shot, pretty much. I don't think he's the best sniper. I think the Arc Sniper is a lot better, but he is pretty good. He works really well in this squad. I think he's like the main offensive fire support, with the Wookiee coming in second, melee Wookiee or shooty Wook, and everyone else pretty much a third because they all have the same gun. Alright, I guess we'll look at the loadout art cards for the Rebel Commandos, which the Rebel Commando and Rebel Trooper loadout cards are on the same page. So just look at the Rebel Commando cards. Anyways, so we have flexible training for our first option, loadout 1A or 1B. So basically you can pick the B or the A side of the card. So loadout 1A is when a unit in the squad performs a dodge or aim action, it gains 1 surge token. The loadout 1B side is during the end phase, choose up to 3 friendly trooper units. They do not remove 1 dodge token during the remove token step. And it's called Vigilant. I think it's pretty obvious which one you take here. It's basically auto vigilance because that's the way better card for Rebel lists, and the fact that they have that card is really strong. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
And then our next loadout cards. Would you like to read out the next loadout cards?
Sure.
Yeah. Loadout 2A and 2B on the Rebel Commandos.
All right. So we got agility training. Units in the squad can spend dodge tokens to cancel crit results, or 2B, improved comms. Units in the squad ignore the effects of the comms disruption condition.
There
so I think
also,
you can see what we probably go for.
Yeah, it's obviously agility training, but I did forget to mention that there were conditions that can affect the battlefield. So I guess we'll scroll back up to go over those. So basically what happens is you roll a white dice, and based on the results of the white die, a crit is inclement weather, a hit is cover of darkness, and a surge is comms disruption, and a blank is clear. So most of your games are going to be clear. You also roll a red defense dice. So if there's a block result in the red die, it applies to the first 2 rounds of the game. If the result is a blank or a surge, it applies to the last 2 rounds of the game. Which we didn't roll the red defense dice, we forgot about that, so we just rolled a white die. We got inclement weather for our game, which improves all units cover on the table by 1. So automatic surge conversion. The hit is cover of darkness. It reduces the range of ranged weapons by 4 inches to a minimum of 6, which is really good. And comms disruption, which is the surge. During the command phase, players issue 1 less order. After assigning orders, draw an order from the order pool and assign it to a corresponding unit. So basically 1 less order from your command card, but you draw a random order to give out to someone. And blank obviously is no effect.
So wait a minute. Don't the clones weapons? I don't know if that would be clones. Don't the weapons for the clones only go up to like range 8?
For the ARC troopers, for most of the ARC troopers, they have 8 inches. So they would go down to a minimum of 6 inches. So they're the least affected by that by the cover of darkness.
Just saying, you're like crap range before. What difference is this?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I think most of those conditions are cool. They're basically limited visibility, and actually that's it. Yeah, because the other 2 are brand new, basically. So yeah, either you can have improved comms to ignore that condition, and keep in mind that you pick the battlefield you pick the objective you're gonna play, then you pick the condition or roll for the condition, and then you pick loadout cards. So if you do have comms disruption, you can pick loadout 2B if you want to, but I think you always want loadout 2A to cancel crit results. It keeps these units alive way longer, especially when you combine it with Vigilant. I think Vigilant and Agility Training are the auto-include for this squad. The other 2 cards that you have options for just do not compare. I mean, Flexible Training gives you Surge tokens, which is nice, but you have to make an aim. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I would say just in comparison, though, too.
Yeah, to Vigilant, there's not really that much comparison, because you have Surge Conversion, you have cover. They already have enough surge conversion for their attack dice with critical 1 and 2, so it's not necessary to bring flexible training. I think Vigilant and Agility Training are the 2 auto includes. Now for the loadout 3A and 3B, on the other hand, 3A is replace the Wookiee Warrior Bowcaster in your squad with a Wookiee Warrior Ryrak Blades, and 3B is when a friendly heavy unit performs a range attack and the defending unit does not have a face down order token, the attack pool gains suppressive 1. And this includes a sniper. So basically you got a sniper that has suppressive 1 to units that haven't already activated, or you replace your Wookiee with a melee Wookiee. I think the choice is pretty even here. I did the melee Wookiee. It worked out really well. But I think suppressive 1 with how powerful suppression can be really good. Though, to be fairly honest, I think I always activated my sniper last, and I think that's how you want to play your sniper.
No, I think you always activated him like somewhere close to last. I think you only activated him last once.
Oh, that's right. He was second to last. I think he usually went after most of your guys had gone, or after the people he was planning on shooting at had already gone. So this is basically asking me to do that first, which isn't bad, I don't think. You just need to be a lot more wary of what units are going to be able to shoot you while you move around that sniper to get this off. And I think the potential of losing your sniper isn't really worth suppressive 1, but suppressive 1 is pretty good in general. And I also think the melee Wookiee is just amazing. But I think both these cards are evenly matched on the table, because Shooty Wookiee gets to start shooting like round 2, round 1. Melee Wookiee doesn't really get to combat until round 3 or 4, which is the last 2 turns of the game. So yeah, I think these cards are. I think 3A, 3B are situational, or just your preference.
I think it's also. I was gonna say. I think it also just really depends on the player who's playing it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think 1B and 2A, Agility, Training, and Vigilant, are the auto-includes for this squad. No questions asked. You're literally gating Situational Awareness and Vigilant, the best 2 cards in Legion's meta right now. Arguably, I think, are they the best? They are some of the best upgrade cards in your squad for free. So, yeah, you're taking those cards, I think.
You will take it. We will make sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next up is the Rebel Trooper Squad, which is actually pretty interesting. They actually have some pretty good stuff. Would you like to read through them, or should I?
I can read through them if you want.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. I'm fine either way.
Neither we either.
Yeah, either rear.
All right, so we've got a Rebel Trooper, Rebel Trooper, a Rebel Trooper, a Rebel Trooper, Rebel Trooper, Rebel Trooper, Rebel Pathfinder, and an Astromech.
Nice.
Yeah, I can read.
All right. Well,
yeah. Well, so obviously the first one will be your captain. They've got Inspire 1, Danger Sense, and Nimble. So not the worst stuff.
Well, Danger Sense, it's a little bit different in this version. So while this unit defends against an attack, it rolls at 1 extra defense die for each suppression token it has. Originally in Standard Legion, Danger Sense always has a value next to it, like Danger Sense 1 or 2. That's how many suppression tokens you have. That's how many extra dice you get. If you have 3 suppression tokens with Danger Sense 2, you don't roll 3 extra dice, you only roll 2. With this new wording of Danger Sense, they can have 5 suppression and roll 5 extra dice. Now, of course, if they're not behind cover, they have 0 surge conversion, so it's really finicky if any of those dice will actually roll extra blocks. But it gives them way more defensive potential than they used to have. And they still have Nimble, so if they have a dodge token, they can spend it to cancel a hit, and then they keep that dodge token, so the next time they get shot, now they have suppression token for an extra defense die, and the dodge token again to cancel additional hit. So it really makes all of these Rebel Troopers way harder to kill by just focusing fire on them, because they're going to get extra dice, they're going to keep their dodge token, and they're just going to keep spending it. Yeah, they seem like beasts defensively, though they don't have surge conversion, which I think evens it out.
I think they take out the seam and say is.
Yeah, they do have combat training, the same as the Rebel Commandos, 3 black dice and melee. They have the A280 blaster rifle, which I think is actually the same as Rebel Commandos, though theirs is only 12 inches. So the commander has 2 red, 2 black, 1 white, critical 1, and then all of the other Rebel Troopers just have 2 blacks and 2 reds, no critical, so no surge conversions on their attack dice. All of the other Rebel Troopers, of course, don't have Inspire, and they only have Courage 2 instead of Courage 3. Pretty similar stuff. This is the only core units in an infantry squad that actually have 2 Courage, which I found really interesting and potentially makes these guys really good, because 1 suppression token doesn't make them suppressed. You have to shoot them twice, and they get extra defense dice for every suppression token. So, yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, exactly. The Rebel Trooper with the DL-20A blaster rifle, the only difference is the rifle that she's carrying. Her gun is 16 inches with 2 red, 2 black, 1 white, critical 2, suppressive 1. And the best units in this list are the Pathfinders. So each of them has 7 health with Courage 2. They both have Agile 1, so after they perform a move action, they get a dodge token. They have Nimble, so this basically just automatically gives them a dodge for Nimble. They have Danger Sense, and they have Valor. So after they perform an attack, another unit at range at 6 inches can remove 1 suppression token. So they can kind of manage the suppression in addition to that Inspire 1 from the Rebel Captain. And their attack pool's a lot better. They have 2 reds, 3 blacks with critical 2. Yeah, the Rebel Pathfinders are really the beasts of the squad. Yeah, and on top of all of this, you get an Astromech with 4 health, Courage 1, white saves, with resupply. Choose a friendly unit at range at 6 inches. It gains 1 surge token or removes 1 suppression token, so basically range 1. And it has the welding torch, so 2 blacks and melee. And it's the support rank. The Pathfinders are the operative rank, the Rebel Troopers the heavy support rank, and the Rebel Troopers are core, and the Rebel Trooper Captain is commander. Yeah, looking at this list, it just looks like a really big headache to play against, because you got 9 models to kill, and none of these models are really made to die except for the Astromech.
The poor little thing.
Yeah, the Astromech's the most fragile model, but like this list could function without it very easily. It's
Or protected if need be.
Yeah, well, not even protected. They don't even really have to be honest. Like, if anything,
No,
the
probably
Astromech is
if
slowing
need
them
be.
down. Yeah, because I, yeah, the Astromech's the only easy thing to kill. Everything else has danger sense and nimble. But because white dice don't all surge right now, you can only surge one or two with your cover. If the defender doesn't even have sharpshooter, if the attacker has sharpshooter, then you don't get any surges. So potentially that danger sense nets you 0 extra blocks. So I don't know. I feel like just looking at this squad coming from normal Legion, this looks like a huge headache to play against. But with the new rules in mind, I'm actually not quite sure.
Yeah, we must look at it from the scope of the Spec Ops.
Yeah, exactly. One thing for sure, though, is those Pathfinders are going to be difficult to take down. If they Agile 1 move and then do a dodge action and then attack, you're going to have 2 dodges to spin on their defense. Yeah. I don't know, this squad looks really good. 9 activations, everything's defensible, and the Pathfinders just have like a wall of text that is just way better. Yeah, it's interesting squad. Anyways, we'll move on to the loadout cards for this squad. So unsurprisingly, agility training is loadout card 1A. And loadout card 1B is actually interesting. It's calm and collected. Units in the squad can spin dodge tokens as if they were aim tokens. I think you're still taking loadout 1A just because you want to keep the dodges for defense and because canceling crits is great.
All too great.
Yeah. Though calm and collected is interesting. I think just agility training is better. Would you like to read the next ones?
Yes, finally I can do something of value.
Right?
All right. So you read both? Yes.
Yeah, 1A, 1B. Here on 2A, 2B, 3A, and 3B.
All right. I'm doing all 4.
Yes.
All right. Put me on a. You give me a lot of work.
Well, we'll have discussion about 2 before we move to 3.
Yeah. All right. So agility training, loadout 2A. Units in the squad can spend dodge tokens to cancel critical results.
Oh, on the Rebel Troopers, not the Rebel Commandos.
Right. Shoot. Okay. It's so close to it.
Very good. No worries.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. All right. Fire on my target. All right. Ignore that little mess up I did.
That's all good.
All right. Fire on my target. Loadout 2A. When a friendly rebel trooper, captain, or a rebel pathfinder performs an attack action, after the attack is resolved, the defender gains 2 observation tokens. Or keep them back. Loadout 2B. Units in the squad at 3 inches of an objective token gain Precise 1, sorry. When you spend a name token to reroll attack dice, you may reroll 1 additional die.
I was about to say Pierce 1, that's really good. That's better than I thought. I think in this one you're also taking 2A, fire on my target, because 2 observations is going to net you the same as spinning an aim to get 3 rerolls, and this squad wants to dodge a lot more than it wants to aim. Yeah, I think the 2's observation tokens is what you want.
Yeah, I mean, Precise 1 is... I mean, it's
something. Like, it's good if you like aim tokens or don't mind between dodge and aim. But if your entire list just wants to dodge, then there's no reason why you want to take Precise 1. Especially since you can only trigger it when you're at 3 inches in an objective token. Like during our game, we only had, I think, like 3 units that were ever at 3 inches in an objective token. And those units were like dodging to stay alive, basically.
Well, that was until your Wookiee came over and just freaking decapitated my droids.
Well, my units were also at 3 inches, and they were just dodging. That's all they were doing, too. Like, they did not want to die. Yeah, and the next ones, though, yeah, 3A and 3B.
Alright. Dug in, loadout 3A. At the start of the first activation phase, each unit in this squad gains 1 dodge token. Or, Desperation, loadout 3B. At the start of the last round, each unit in this squad recovers.
Yeah. So obviously this affects all the units in the squad. And you go ahead.
I'd probably say dug in, to be honest.
Yeah, it does seem a lot better, especially since that you can get first shots off at 12 inches if your opponent moves ahead of you and doesn't hold their units back behind cover. I feel like, though, if you had this card, they probably would just inch forward and then round 2 start engagement, which could
But
be
at the
useful
same
for
time,
you
though,
because now you control the objective.
yeah.
If
At
it
the
is,
same
and
time,
if it
though,
is like a game mode where like you need to get to the objective as soon as possible, then absolutely Duggan is the choice. But
yeah,
Desperation is, I think, probably like, depending on the objectives, we'll cover those next week, obviously. But I think the one that we played, I'd probably take Desperation, just so that my 2 units that are about to panic or get suppressed don't, and they can just move up. But if I'm playing any other objective, I'm pretty sure I want Duggan, just because round 1 there's going to be a lot of shots.
yeah. I'm just choosing Duggan because it's Well, I
Gives them
mean,
more
it's at
dodge
the start of
tokens. And that
yeah,
is, I think, why it's really good too. Like, I think Duggan, it's not bad. I think it's really great, but there is like 1 or 2 situations where I think Desperation's a little bit better.
yeah, of
Just
course.
because like you're really gonna not get the you said of those dodge tokens. It's really just kind of like, if you shoot me, I'm gonna spend all these dodge tokens, and your opponent's probably gonna be like, I'm not gonna shoot you then.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. But you will get to move up to the objective, and then it'll be like a slow push from your opponent for the rest of the game. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
for this
Also,
squad, 1A, 2A, and 3A are the best picks.
yeah. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I read Duggan, I thought it said at the start of each activation phase.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought too when I first read the card, and I was like, that's broken as like. But then I saw the first, and I was like, oh, thank God, this list is not destroyably broken. I think
Yeah,
actually
but
in the alpha testing, I think it was at the start of each activation phase. Um, so I have no idea how that went. That was probably a
yeah, wait a minute.
nightmare.
I forget what was it in the Droid squad that allowed me to get a bunch of just
That
dodges.
was independent dodge one, which we'll get to in a
Oh, that's right.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the better version of this card, obviously. But yeah. All right, and then command cards. So obviously both squads have the generic command cards, and then both squads have their faction-specific ones. We'll go
We've
over the
also got the
generic.
mini tank on there, so
Yeah, we'll go over actually 3 generics. We'll go over the 3 generics first. So the first one is a 1-pip Hero of the Rebellion. 1 commander unit or 1 operative unit. So if you're playing Rebel Commandos, just your commander. If you're playing infantry rebels, then you can do Pathfinder or your commander. And when a unit is issued an order from this card, it recovers. Then it gains 1 aim and 1 dodge token. Really strong. Gives you the aim that you like for shooting better without sacrificing the dodge action. And you gain a dodge token on top of that. So you can end up with 2 dodge tokens, getting rid of all your suppression, and an aim token. And if you're Rebel Pathfinder, then you can also move again to get another dodge. So yeah, that one's pretty good. Built on Hope is the next one. 1 commander unit and 2 core units for 2 pip, so a lot of orders. Each time a friendly unit panics, it removes 1 suppression token. This one isn't terrible. Usually you're going to have 1 or maybe 2 units that panic per round, usually just 1. The nice thing about it, though, is that unit that does panic, they remove the suppression from rolling the dice, and then they remove an additional suppression, so they don't get panicked sooner. It's decent. 2 pip, 3 orders, I think is great.
yeah.
That's not bad. And then Feel Like 100, which is pretty interesting. So
Oh no.
3 pip for 3 units. When performing a range attack, friendly units' attack pools gain suppressive 1. So basically 2 suppression every shot. This can be really good if you have an enemy suppressed unit and you just want to pile on suppression on them.
If you want to just start being mean to your friend for the next couple of minutes, choose that card.
Yeah, it's really good. I think in the round I played this, I got 2 units. I shot 1 unit with 1 suppression. It rolled a die. I shot a unit with 2 suppression. It rolled 2 dice. I think that was it. It's a good card. I only netted, I think, like 1 extra wound from it. It definitely does make your list feel like 100, though. I will say that for sure. And of course, both squads are going to have standing orders, because standing orders.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of just goes without saying.
Yeah. Alright, do you want to do the Rebel Commando specific command cards?
Sure. Let me
Sounds
find them.
They're below loadouts for Rebel Commandos and above Imperial Infantry Squad.
Okay, so I was there. Alright, Silent Approach, Rebel Commandos. This is a 3-pip card, 3 units. Each unit in the squad may choose up to 1 enemy miniature in line of sight. Each chosen enemy miniature gains 1 observation token.
Yeah, this one's pretty good for just dishing out a lot of observation tokens, because you can give the same unit multiple observation tokens if multiple of your units have line of sight to that unit. So you can pretty much target the units you're going to kill and just get a bunch of rerolls. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, lets you do dodge.
Oh yes, this one was very fun. Set charges, Rebel Commandos, aka the Mini Death Star. One, I forget, that's support, yeah?
Yeah, 1 support unit, which is just the Rebel Saboteur unit.
Yeah. During a friendly Rebel Commando Saboteur's activation, it gains the following weapon. 6 red die with 6-inch radius, critical 3 and impact 3.
Yeah, so it only targets 1 unit. It's a 1-pip though, so you can get this attack off. It's pretty good. I liked it. There is one objective where you're supposed to destroy an armored vehicle, and as far as I know, this is the only command card which adds like another weapon to your pool when doing that objective. So I think this squad has an advantage for running that objective offensively. And this card's pretty good. 6 reds, 3 surge conversion, pretty much 6 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think I did like 3 wounds to your Magna Guard with it, and when I shot him with this, yeah.
No, I think it was like 4.
No, it was 3, and then my sniper did 3, and then your Magna Guard's at 1 HP, and then my Wookiee came in to do 4. Yeah.
But before I could stab your Saboteur, because...
Yeah, because I didn't want him to die. And then there's Hold at Any Cost for the Rebel Troopers. These are now the 2 specific Rebel Trooper command cards. 3-pip for 3 units. When a unit in the squad is declared as a defender of an enemy attack, it gains 1 suppression token. If it does, it gains 1 dodge token. Busted.
Very much.
It is. It feeds Danger Sense. It gives them another dodge token. It's busted. Like, yeah, it feeds both of their defensive tech for like 1 thing. Like, that card is so busted.
Hey, do you want to hate this squad even more? Well, here you go.
Literally, like, there's no counter this card poses either. Like, it's just good. Like, maybe if you have suppression and suppressive weapons, like feel like 100, you can make them panic a bunch, but like, yeah. Anyway, speaking of panic, there's the 3-pip card, Last Stand, 3 units. When a unit in this squad panics, it only suffers a wound if it rolls a crit result. Additionally, if it rolls a surge result, it recovers 1 wound. Also super busted, because eventually that squad's going to start panicking, and if you know the turn they're going to start panicking, then you can just basically make it to where they don't really suffer any wounds, and if they do, then they have an equal chance of recovering wounds.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, both these 3-pips are busted for the Rebel Trooper squad.
I mean, I guess at least it's a 3-pip, but still...
Well, even then, to be honest, like, I prefer 3-pips just for order control. So this is giving me order control and 2 really great abilities where I don't even really need to shoot first to activate them or go first. I don't even care if I go first, honestly, because I have really great defensive abilities. My guys are getting to get their shots off, like, probably 100% with these cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know, the Rebel Trooper squad's looking better and better.
The more we read, the more we realize, man, maybe we should use them.
Yeah, no, right? Oh, I don't know. That might be what you run against next. I'm joking.
No.
Yeah, I only run against. Anyways, next up we have the Imperial Infantry Squad, the counter to the Rebels. So first up we have the Imperial Officer, and this is where actually units start being different to their commanders. So the Imperial Officer has 2 special actions. One of them is Get Them. Choose 1 friendly Stormtrooper unit at 8 inches. The chosen unit may make a move action. Then it may make a melee attack.
I don't know why, but whenever I like read Get Them, it reminds me of that one scene from Spaceballs where
Yep.
it was their stunt doubles, and he was just yelling at them like, "No, you idiots! These are their stunt doubles."
Literally, yep. And then you have Spotter 1. Choose a friendly unit at 6 inches. It gains 1 aim token. Then she has Chain of Command. When this unit is issued an order, you may choose up to 2 friendly Stormtrooper units at 8 inches. If you do, each chosen unit gains a standby token. So it basically sets up a standby trap. You have combat training, so melee is a black and a white, the worst melee. You have an RK3 blaster pistol, 4 black dice at 8 inches with critical 1, speed 2, 5 health, courage 2, white defense. So this is obviously offensively a very the worst unit we've seen so far.
Supportive though.
Support-wise, pretty good. The aim token's great. The standbys are amazing with the order you give her. Get them is a really silly ability that, I mean, the extra move action's great for a Stormtrooper, because that's a speed 2 move, and they speed 2 move, so they're going to be at the objective. The melee attack thing, I think, is just kind of silly, to be honest, because the Stormtrooper's blaster rifle's better than their melee attack, and also, it's just silly that you're kind of ordering a Stormtrooper to go into a melee engagement when they have a blaster rifle.
Hey, you guys can't aim for crap, so why don't you go in there and start shooting
I don't
them
know.
up?
I find it a very silly ability, but it's still a good unit, though. The aim token is good, and the move action is great. Anyways, you got 3 regular Stormtroopers, each with Precise 1. When this unit spins an aim token, it rerolls 1 additional dice. Sentinel, this unit can spin standby tokens and after enemy units performs an action at 18 inches instead of 12 inches. In Unrelenting Advance, when this unit causes an enemy unit to panic, this unit may make a speed 1 move. They have combat training, so 4 blacks in their melee, which is pretty good. 12 inches is their blaster range with a red, 3 black, and 1 white. No critical surges. Speed 2, red saves with 6 health, and 1 courage. So they can suppress and panic very easily. Overall, I don't think they're bad. Sentinel's a great ability. The only problem is their guns aren't 18 inches, so they're not getting shots. They're just moving into range of their enemy, or aiming, I guess, to be prepared for their next shot coming up.
Also, I feel like that 1 courage is just real.
Yeah, it's
like,
real.
I'm not
It's really iffy.
but-
Because we were playing with
'cause I
Courage
mean-
2 units, and we were dealing with suppression and panic a lot. So to
Yeah,
like
so
half that is huge difference.
double the amount of times that you get suppressed and all that must be
Literally,
awful.
yeah. Because I feel like the Unrelenting Advanced keyword is going to come more handy if they're shooting other Stormtroopers and not Rebel Troopers, to be honest. Though Unrelenting Advance seems pretty good. If you get a unit to panic, speed 1 move into the objective. Yeah, it's not terrible. Anyways, there's also the Stormtrooper with the DLT-19 heavy rifle in this squad. He's exactly the same as the Stormtroopers. The only difference is he rolls 5 red dice at 16 inches with Impact 1 and Suppressive 1. This guy I actually think is really good because he almost has the same as 18 inches for a standby token. So when he standbys, he's going to be able to use that range. And he also has a really good gun. 5 red dice is very strong.
Indeed.
And Suppressive 1's great too.
Well, no, that's not 5 red die. That's 3 red die and 2 black.
Oh, it's 3 red dice, 2 black. Oh, I'm sorry, my computer's aligned down it. So 3 red dice and 2 black. That's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. This one's good. I like this one. And the Death Troopers, I think, are actually like one of the top 5 units of all of the units of all the squads. So they have Bodyguard 2. So while a friendly commander unit at 6 inches... Well, actually, when a commander unit at 6 inches suffers wounds from an attack, this unit may suffer up to 2 of those wounds instead. You have Stealth Armor, so this unit's in cover is increased by 1 automatically, so they don't really need to stay in cover as much. They have Tactical 1, so when they perform move action, they gain 1 aim token, and they have Unrelenting Advance, so they do the move, speed 1 move if the unit panics. They have Close Quarters Combat, 4 black dice in melee. They have E11D Blaster Rifle, 2 reds, 3 blacks with critical 2. 7 health with 3 courage, red saves, and there's 2 of these guys in the list. These are definitely the shining stars of this squad. Like, the rest of the units in this squad are okay to good, and these 2 guys, though, are, like, amazing.
It's like they just came and joined because it was like, look, without us, y'all is gonna y'all's toast.
I mean,
Okay.
they are Death Troopers, though, so you don't really expect anything
Yeah.
less. They are bringing defensive red surges in. They have aim tokens when they move, which is great. That's action efficiency. Interestingly enough, with the bodyguard ability, it says a commander unit. It doesn't specify friendly. So you could, if you wanted to, suffer wounds for an enemy commander instead of them suffering those wounds. Which I don't think you do.
It'd be
I don't
funny.
even. Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think you're gonna like save your friendly commander. To be honest, I don't think the Imperial officer is really worth saving in this list. Like the Imperial officer's great, but I don't think he's great enough to save. To be honest, to be sacrificing your Death Troopers for, anyways. But yeah, there's also the medical droid. So the medical droid has 5 health, 1 courage, white defense, 2 speed 2. It has a melee attack of 1 white dice, aggressive beeping. And its main action is medical aid. Choose a friendly non-droid trooper unit at 3 inches. It removes up to 2 wound tokens, if able. And this is the support unit for the list. The medical droid's really great too. This is another solid addition. Like the DLT-19 Stormtrooper, the 2 Death Troopers, and the medical droid are really good for this squad. The Stormtroopers are okay. So I feel like with all the good pieces you have in this squad, this is a pretty solid list.
Yeah.
There's nothing that screams like amazing except for the Death Troopers and the medical droid. But the Stormtroopers are okay. And we're also skipping over the immobilized vehicles in each squad because those are specific to one objective, which we'll talk about next week.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, literally.
Also, don't read it, please.
Yeah, but I think the fact that Death Troopers have 3 courage is just insanely good. Like, the best unit in the squad. Yeah, I feel like if I'm going against this squad, I'm not focusing on Death Troopers. Like, they've got too much health. They've got auto surge conversion. They've got 3 courage. And there's also a medical droid that can heal them too. Like, I'm pretty much going for the medical droid and the officer because they're the easiest to kill, and then I'm just trying to kill Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going for Death Troopers just because they're going to be too difficult to kill. Yeah.
Now let's go on to a squad I really, really like.
Oh, the Imperial Special Forces. Well, first let's take out the loadout cards for the Imperial Infantry Squad.
It's fine.
So would you like to go through those loadout cards?
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll start with the 1A and 1B.
Yeah. Alright. Push them back. Load out 1A. When an enemy unit panics, choose 1 friendly unit. The chosen friendly unit loses 1 suppression token. So that is very good for this.
It synergizes well with the when a unit panics, make a speed 1 move. Removing 1 suppression is also good because it keeps your Stormtroopers from panicking or being suppressed. I would say it's good, but let's see what mission tactics is first before we make our decision.
No, I've already made my decision. Droids, independent. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. Mission tactics. Loadout 1B. At the start of each friendly unit's activation, if it is at 3 inches of an objective token, it gains 1 surge token.
That one's really good though too, because it gives Stormtroopers surging red saves or surges on attack.
Yeah.
I feel like both these cards are honestly really good because one synergizes well and keeps your Stormtroopers from panicking, and the other one just keeps them alive longer, but they have to be at an objective.
Yeah, so it kind of has conditions to it.
Yeah, I feel like they're both good though, to be honest. Like, I feel like surge tokens are better, but because it's at objective, both these cards are evenly matched. And both these are really good for the list.
Yeah. Alright, should I continue?
Yes. I think we got enough said about those ones.
Alright, inspiring inspiring oration. Is that what that is?
Oration, yep.
Yeah, alright. Loadout 2A. After a friendly Imperial officer is issued an order, friendly units at 6 inches may remove 1 suppression token.
Really good.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you did 1A and 2A, then you could control suppression. Anyway, alright, portable scanner, loadout 2B. Units in the squad ignore the effects of the inclement weather condition. Yeah, I feel
so
like you might want to go with
2A, because inclement weather is the one where you improve cover by 1. That just helps your squad more. Actually, inclement weather, is that the one that... That's the one that improves cover by 1. So
I
I guess
believe
while
so,
you
yeah.
attack a unit, they don't get surge conversion, but while you defend, you get it. Or you remove suppression tokens. I feel like
I still
suppression's
feel
probably
like you
better.
want. Yeah, plus it gives the Imperial officers some more like importance. Like now you have more incentive to want to keep them around.
I mean, not really, to be honest. It just makes them more useful while they're around. Because I feel like the Imperial Officer, it gives you an aim and the standby tokens, but I feel like other than those two things, it's kind of useless to keep around. And those standbys are only so useful until your opponent starts shooting them off of you.
I suppose it
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool ability, but I mean, if they take off my Imperial Officer instead of a Stormtrooper, I think I'm much happier in that situation.
All right. Sorry. Should I read
Yes, yep, yep,
3A and 3B?
yep.
All right. Guard duty. Loadout 3A. During the end step, after removing tokens, each friendly Stormtrooper unit that removes a standby token may gain an aim token.
Strong.
So, yep. All right. Interrogation protocols. Loadout 3B. Melee attacks made by a friendly FX9 medical droid add 4 red die to their attack pool.
That's kind of silly. Okay,
So essentially, the beepings get incredibly aggressive.
the beepings get super aggressive.
So that they get so aggressive, the thing instead replaces its like syringe with a freaking
Yeah,
DLT 44.
I feel
Not
like
44, but
I feel like I'm taking 3A. 3B is funny, but the droid doesn't have charge, and its main function is to heal.
I just imagine like a stormtrooper picking it up, running at the enemy, and just chucking it at the enemy.
Literally, you deal with the
Quick,
beeping now. I feel like with guard duty, that's really good because stormtroopers like standby tokens. Officer gives out standby tokens, so then you generate those to aims. So for round 2, you're starting round 2 at like 4 aim tokens on all your stormtroopers. Well, 1 aim on each stormtrooper, but 4 in total. So you're starting off on like a really powerful sweep of attacks. Because your death troopers are going to be able to move and gain an aim before they shoot. So I think guard duty is the card you want because it makes your Imperial officer even more useful because now those standbys turn to aim tokens if they're not spent. Yeah, I think guard duty is not busted, but very good. Very, very good.
Just on the border. It's not Rebel Squad.
It's not rebel busted, but it is good.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we can look at the Imperial Special Forces Squad.
Yes.
I know, the one we're all looking forward to. So, Imperial Special Forces Captain. This guy has an action for Pulse Scan. Choose up to 2 enemy units at 10 inches. If you do, each chosen unit loses all dodge tokens and gains 1 observation token. Obviously the counter to Rebels. Threat Assessment. When a friendly unit at 8 inches spends an observation token on an enemy unit, it may reroll 1 extra die. So observations become aim tokens, which is really strong. And he also has Tactical 1, so after he performs a move action, he gains 1 aim token. He has Close Quarters Combat, so red and 3 black in melee. 3 reds and 2 blacks at 12 inches for his modified E11 blast rifle with critical 1. Speed 2, health 7, courage 3, red saves. 2 regular Imperial Forces troopers with tactical 1 and ambush. When this unit makes an attack, when this unit attacks an enemy unit with a face down order token, its attack pool gains suppressive 1. They also have the modified E11 with the same die with 2 reds and 3 blacks, critical 1. Same melee attack, 6 health, red save, courage 2, speed 2. The Imperial Special Forces guys look really strong. Basically, Death Troopers with less surge conversion, but more flavor text.
We all love flavor text.
Yeah, I mean, the ambush, I think the ambush is more flavor than the Unrelenting Advance and Bodyguard, because I think Bodyguard you never really use unless you absolutely need to keep that officer alive for objective. And Unrelenting Advance triggers sometimes, but because Death Troopers already gain an aim when they move, they're probably going to be on top of the objective like turn 1 or 2. Ambush, though, seems like it would apply a lot more, potentially, depending on what target you're shooting. Anyways, Scout Troopers. You get 3 of these guys in your list. Well, not including the Sniper guy, but 3 regular Scout Troopers at core unit. The Imperial Special Force Captain is Commander. The Imperial Special Forces are special forces, and scout troopers are each corps, except for the sniper. He's heavy support. So each scout trooper has observe 1. As an action, they put an observation token on an enemy unit in line of sight. They also have ambush. They have scout 1. They have tactical 1. Their ranged weapon is 8 inches, 6 black dice with the EC-17 holdout blaster. Their melee weapon is also the holdout blaster, so 6 black in melee. They have white saves with 6 health, courage 2, and 2 speed. So, not a bad unit. Once they get into range, they're really going to lay down hurt onto units. And if your opponent has melee units, they aren't really going to want to engage these guys because of how hard these guys hit. But I don't think the Observe is very good. It's great with the threat assessment from the Imperial Special Forces Captain, because it's better than aiming, I think, because that Observe stays even if you don't have to spin the aim. Because if you don't have to spin the aim, then it's wasted. But if you don't have to spin the Observe, then it stays around for the next attack. Scout 1's good because they need that for getting closer. Tactical 1's great because they want to move before shooting. And Ambush is also good. So I think these guys are good. White saves, though, with no defensive tech is, I think, their one blind spot that could mean they die very fast.
Yeah.
But they still seem pretty good, like very offensive. And we'll see how all that goes.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Yep. Anyways, you have the Scout Trooper with the DLT 19X sniper rifle. He has all of the same stats except for his ranged gun is different. Even his melee gun's the same, but his ranged gun's different. 16 inches, 3 black, 3 red, 2 black, Pierce 1. Yeah, so basically out of all the sniper squads, I believe this one has the worst range at 16 inches.
This is weird, because you'd think, they scout troopers, you'd expect them to have better range.
Yeah, I would expect him to have the same range because sniper model with sharpshooter 1, but he doesn't even have sharpshooter 1. Critical on his gun. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if, like, the Imperial Special Forces, like, troopers and just the regular scout troopers are so powerful in the list that they kind of had to nerf the sniper a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. That's something that, again, like the Rebel Troopers, they just have to play to see. He does look good, though. The 3 red, 2 black's not a bad dice pool. Yeah, no sharpshooter, though. Only 16 inches. Yeah, he's good, but definitely not the best sniper.
Could be so much better.
Yeah, he could be a lot better. Yeah, he's not terrible, though. And then you have the ID-10 Seeker Droid, the support slot for this list. So double action, incapacitate, choose an enemy unit with a face-down order choose an enemy that... hang on, actually, let me see what this reads. Choose an enemy unit without a face-down order token in base contact. If it has a face-up order token, flip it face-down. If it does not have an order token, assign it a face-down order token. Really good. Basically, you shut down a unit from activating for that round. And you also have Observe 1 on this dude, which I think is going to be your main action if you're not in base contact, just kind of giving out observation tokens. You do have Electroshock Prod, so a melee weapon of 2 black, 2 white with Suppressive 2. Speed 2, 5 health, 1 courage with white saves. He's not a bad support, to be honest.
Not at all.
I think he's the most interesting because he's either generating rerolls, 2 rerolls, because of the ISF captain, or he's incapacitating enemy units once he gets close enough.
Yeah.
And he's also support. Yeah, he's also support, and all support units have, like, I think every objective favors support units. So there's like 3 different ways you could play this guy, which is really good.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Exactly, yeah. Alright, next up will be his loadout cards, and would you like to do those again?
Sure, I got nothing better to do.
Sounds good.
So, first one, fan out, loadout 1A. When they are not at 8 inches of a friendly Imperial Special Forces captain, friendly Imperial Special Forces troopers in this squad gain independent 1 aim or dodge 1. Or aim 1 or dodge 1.
Yeah, which is super good.
And last but not least, surgical strike. Sounds kind of funny. Loadout 1B. When a unit in this squad is attacking, it may spend any number of aim tokens after the attack is resolved. For each aim token spent in this way, the defendant unit gains 1 suppression token.
And that not as good, but still has some play with it. I mean, you'll be probably using your observation tokens to get rerolls, so you'll probably get like suppressive 1. If this was spin observation tokens, then this would be really good with this list. That would be like suppressive 8 with 1 attack. I still think fan out's better though, because your 2 ISF troopers get free dodge tokens to stay alive longer, which gives them slightly more survivability than, well, same survivability as death troopers. But surgical strike has some play. I think fan out's better though.
Yeah. Should I keep reading 2A and 2B?
Yes, you can read all of them.
All right. My favorite. All right. Follow my lead. Loadout 2A. When a friendly Imperial Special Forces captain or Imperial Special Forces trooper unit makes an aim or dodge action, you may choose up to 1 friendly scout trooper at 6 inches. If you do, the chosen unit gains 1 match and aim or dodge token.
Token sharing, which is strong. You have to make an aim or a dodge action though. So the independent and the tactical one don't trigger this ability, which is the only disadvantage.
Yeah. And last but not least, priority target. Loadout 2B. At the start of each round, choose up to 2 different enemy units. Each chosen unit gains 1 observation token.
I think with the ISF captain's ability to reroll 2 dice with an observation token, that's probably the one I take, just because a lot more rerolls.
Yeah.
Which is what Follow My Lead's gonna lead to, anyways.
Yeah. Follow my lead and lead to that.
Yeah. Lead.
All right. All the leads.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, loadout 3A, ambush. Each friendly Imperial Special Forces captain and Imperial Special Forces trooper covert deploys. When a friendly Imperial Special Forces captain or Imperial Special Forces trooper is placed on the battlefield, it gains 1 aim or dodge token.
Pretty strong. Covert deploy, obviously, we read earlier. And they gain an aim or dodge token. Now, it's during the in phase, so I'm not sure if they'd be able to keep those tokens. I was trying to read the timing charts, and I believe they can. Because during the in phase, like, first step of the in phase is remove tokens. Second step is clean up stuff, and the third step is resolve effects. So this is technically an effect, so this would resolve after the cleanup token step, so they'd be carrying those tokens into the next round.
Yeah.
I believe, though I'm not 100% sure.
Well, then what do I rely on you for? Alright, and last but certainly not least, I've said that line way too many times, low-vis equipment. I don't really like that shortening of words, but we'll go with it. Loadout 3B. Units in the squad ignore the effects of the cover of darkness or inclement weather conditions.
I think this one's actually good, because you ignore both conditions. I mean,
specific, just one.
Yeah, exactly. So if both those conditions are harmful to you, then you can pick this card. And I think because ambush forces you to covert deploy half your squad, and the only units in your squad that actually have range other than the sniper, that this is actually situational, and this is depending on the objective as well as just other effects as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one that depends on the objective for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's good though. All right, shall I move on to the Republic? Oh no, we have command cards first. Never mind, my bad.
Wow.
Command cards. All right, so you
I
have
actually have to split this up a bit because I don't know if I'm gonna have time to finish all of this.
Yeah, no worries. I think actually looking at time-wise, I think we'll just finish up the Empire stuff, and then we'll just call it, and we'll do Empire. Yeah. We'll do Republic and Separatist next week with objectives if we can, and then we'll do a tier list of everything for a third week.
You gotta keep hearing our opinions, which is ultimately the only opinion that matters.
I mean, that's what these podcasts are about anyways, so,
Yeah.
Anyways.
You gotta hear us talk even longer.
I know, exactly. Anyways, so we have the generic Imperial command cards. The first one is 4 pips, Oppression. No units. When an enemy unit rallies, it removes 1 less suppression token. I guess if you have a unit you really don't want to remove suppression tokens, or you've spread out a lot of suppression tokens and you don't want them to remove suppression tokens, this feels like a card that I would never play, but if I... Yeah, because Standing Orders thing is better because it gives you 1 order. This just is kind of oppressive, but not really. It only affects 1 unit. one enemy unit, maybe two.
Yeah.
And then there's a three pip for the Empire, only 2 units. Each friendly unit at 3 inches of an objective token gains 1 aim token. That I think is actually pretty cool, pretty thematic for the Empire. Spin multiple aims to reroll multiple stuff. And you obviously can use your actions to take a dodge, so stay alive a bit longer. Not bad. And then there's Imperial Training, which is 2 units, 2 pip. When a unit is issued an order by this card, it may suffer 1 wound. If it does, it may make a free recover action. That I think is really strong.
Yeah, although I kind of wish they'd chosen a different photo. I don't know why. I feel like there could have been a better one, but
I mean, that's pretty Imperial Training to me, to be honest. So you got an escalator.
No. We gotta have pilots.
I feel like these Imperial pilots, like in the Han Solo comic, like they were literally crawling through trenches and learning hand-to-hand combat and like Imperial Stormtrooper stuff, like as a part of their curriculum. I feel like this is pretty Imperial Training, to be honest. Like, you know, you got a guy working out, you got a guy on the escalator, you got 2 guys wrestling, you got 2 officers overlooking them. Yeah, I like the art. I don't know, I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
That one dude lifting that dumbbell has a lot of biceps, though. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great card, though. Really keeps your units from panicking.
Yes. Last but not least, we got standing orders.
Yep, that art for standing orders does look pretty good, though. Even though all the stormtroopers are photocopied.
I don't know. I mean, like the one in the back looks ever so slightly tilted in a different direction, but yeah.
But not. I think it's more the light that's hitting him, to be honest. I think if the light wasn't there, he'd look exactly the same.
Yeah.
He actually does. It's just the light kind of makes him look different.
Oh, yeah. Never mind, I retract my statement.
Yeah. The officer looks pretty interesting, though. Anyways, the Imperial Infantry specific command cards. There is a 4-pip card. You have your orders. Infantry squad. 1 commander unit and 3 units. Each friendly unit at 6 inches of an Imperial officer gains 1 surge token. Very strong. You're definitely not winning priority with this card, but all of your guys at 6 inches of the officer all gain better defense / offense for that turn, and you also get 4 orders, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good trade-off.
Yeah, and elite troopers, 2 operative units, which is just the death troopers as the art shows, 2 pip. Each unit in the issued order of this card gains steady this turn. So the Death Troopers both gain steady, which gives them free attacks after they move. So they aim, they move, they gain an aim with tactical 1, and then they shoot you with 2 aim tokens. Or they shoot you with 1 aim token and they dodge. Basically just gives them huge action efficiency, and yeah, this is a good card.
I don't think there's much more that needs to be said about it.
No, yeah, it is kind of interesting. You can only do this on Death Troopers, but I guess it makes sense. It's just very specific. You got to keep both of them alive to pull this card off.
Yeah.
All right, then there's the Imperial Special Forces specific command cards, Special Forces and Shock and Awe. So Special Forces is a 2-pip that issues 2 Special Forces units, so only the ISF troopers. So when a commander or Special Forces unit in the squad attacks an enemy unit with a face-up order token, after the attack is resolved, shuffle that order token back into that player's order pool. So basically it eliminates order control from your opponent's side of the table, and only the ISF troopers or captain can use this card as ability, and only the ISF troopers can receive orders from it, which kinda sucks from the independent aim 1 dodge 1 that you'd be giving them with loadout 1A. But it's not a bad card. I think it just depends on the situation. Then there's Shock and Awe, 3 pips for 2 units. When a unit in the squad defeats an enemy unit before the enemy unit is removed from the battlefield, all other enemy units 6 inches of the removed unit gains 1 suppression token. So that I think is actually really good.
They must use the Mario grenade.
Yeah. I think it's especially good if you're playing against Courage 1 units, because now they're all suppressed.
Essentially, if you fight yourself.
Yeah, the Shock and Awe seems really good. Because it's any unit in the squad. So if you actually wipe out 3 units during that round, you give out 3 suppression tokens to everyone. That's huge. That can swing a game. That can either swing a game. That can either swing a game or make a game just impossible to win for your opponent.
So yeah, that's most certainly a very powerful card. You just really got to be smart on how you use it.
Yeah, I mean, mainly you just use it when all your guys are going to have shots that turn, and then you just literally steamroll them. All your guys are shooting with really powerful attacks, with tokens, and on top of that, every time one of your guys dies, which is going to happen a lot that round, everyone else gains a suppression, and pretty much panics or suppresses. Like, that card could actually, like, what you could do is you could shoot a unit with a suppressive ambush from the scout trooper, give that unit 2 suppression tokens, and then shoot a different unit and kill that different unit, and then that one unit with the 2 suppression tokens gets a 3rd suppression, and if it's at 1 health, that's a 50-50 chance you just wipe out that unit without having to shoot it again. So yeah, this card's really good. Shock and Awe is like, wow. I think this matches the 2 Rebel 3 pips very well.
It's essentially just a fat middle finger.
Literally, it literally is, because like, of course they love Danger Sense, but this card's just gonna make them literally. This card basically shoves suppression and panic tokens down the throat of that Rebel player for that round, and if their units survive, great. Yeah, literally, like, it's gonna throw so much dice at them with so many attacks as well that like the Rebel player might be eating their command card just in despair. I don't know. Yeah, I think the 3 pip that were like Rebel units when they panic, they only roll crits or surges is the one that maybe counters this one, but even that one not as well, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because often it's going to be happening. Well, anyways, that will be the Rebel and Imperial squads for today, as well as the core rules of the Special Forces documents for Star Wars Legion. As we are almost running out of time, we are going to save the objectives and Republic and Separatist factions for next time. Or just Republic and Separatist factions. We'll see what happens time-wise. And yeah, what do you think so far, Glacier? What do you think of all the Rebel and Imperial squads?
I am in shock and awe.
Yeah, I think the Rebel Trooper squad looks really good, and the Imperial Special Forces squad also has a lot of interesting pieces. The Death Troopers look absolutely amazing, and they carry that Imperial Infantry squad so hard.
I think the Rebels need to cool it down.
With the good stuff, yeah, the Rebels have a lot of good cards in this document. It's like, because right now in Legion they're not doing too well in the standard form of Legion, so I'm guessing they're trying to make them good in this mode so they can win something. I'm not sure exactly what the thought is there.
The only way that could make any sense is if the Rebel players of Star Wars Legion infiltrated the headquarters of Star Wars Legion, the creators, and forced them to make real good lists for them.
I mean, that is definitely one problem too, is that, like, I remember in X-Wing, like, having Rebel players complain about how bad their faction is, and I would go and win a game with them, like, win 3 games in a row with them, and be like, what's the problem? You guys just don't know how to equip these X-Wings. Like, these X-Wings are the best ship in the game. What are you talking about? I want to play Rebels now, and I'm like a hardcore Empire fan.
It's like, no, but the shield's got to be freaking invincible, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Because, like, also Rebels had, like, that unstoppable meta in X-Wing for, like, 6 months that very nearly killed the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it lived up to its name, X-Wing.
Yeah, well, that list was made of, like, U-Wings and B-Wings and Y-Wings, mostly.
I know, but
Rebels.
Rebels...
Sometimes there was one X-Wing in the squad, but it was mainly composed of B-Wings and U-Wings. And a Y-Wing.
Potato.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's it for today. Let us know if you liked this squad overview. Obviously, after we're done with the Imperial Special Forces documents, we'll move on to other Legion topics. Let us know in the comments what topic you'd like us to cover in the next podcast after all the special operations stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. I've been Mike.
I've been Glacier Dome.
And we'll see you next time. May the Force be with you. Good luck, and get rock and rolling.